Okay.
Oh, we're live.
We are live.
It didn't even count us in.
No, it didn't. Didn't give us a 3, 2, 1.
We were like, okay, we're ready. Waiting.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is
Hi.
exciting because welcome back
Look
to the
up there.
neighborhood. Oh, true.
I
Now we're
know.
doing a camera up there.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So a lot has changed in a year and a half.
And clearly we've forgotten everything.
Well, it's kind of like riding a horse. And I feel like we haven't ridden a horse in 30 years.
Yeah, I haven't ridden one in 33 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you did get on one like 10 years ago and fell off immediately. And that's kind of where we are today.
I stayed on though. I'll have you know.
You're just upside down.
No,
weren't you?
I mean, I fell off and then I got back on.
Yeah.
And rode for many hours.
Yeah. Well, so for those of you who have been listening faithfully to the last 7 years of the neighborhood podcast, Taylor, this is Taylor Schreck.
I'm Taylor Schreck.
And I'm Gina Schreck. For those of you going, who the heck are they? Sorry. I'm such an amateur. I'm looking down to find also.
Oh, yeah. That's fine to do that.
Yeah, to do that. But we have been on hiatus. I don't even know that you could call it hiatus. It was like a sabbatical.
It was a forced stay in a psychiatric ward is what it was.
That's very true. So for the last year and a half, we had to pause the podcast because we had just a bit going on with the expansion here at the village.
If you listened faithfully in the past, you would know what it was. But for those of you who don't, which I'm assuming is most people who are listening, because we've been MIA for so long, we took our 10,000 square foot co-working space and made it just like a tiny slight increase in size to 50,000.
50,000. So we went times 5 on our build out. So we had to put pause last year because we had so much going on, and it's been such a long year. And I mean, I keep saying a year and a half. It's been a year and 2 months.
Over a year. Because we
got the keys June 1.
Yeah, we knocked the wall down in June or July.
Yeah, mid-June, started construction like August. And here we are today, a year and a month later, worn out, beat up.
Only a year later, but we aged about a decade.
And we forgot how to use all technology.
Where to look, the sun.
Yeah, where's the sun? We haven't been outside in years. And so we decided this year when we reboot, because we've always done audio only. And I have been the one to say we should do video, which I hate being on video now because these dang HD cameras. But you'll notice.
You look great.
Yeah. Well, so
what will we notice?
A few more wrinkles, a few more gray hairs that have been dyed. But other than that,
look great.
Yeah, we're here.
I went and got a completely different face just because I looked like Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove. So I do look back to myself.
So we decided, you know what? Not only are we going to go live, or not only are we going to do video, we're going to go live every week on Tuesday at 1. And we're going to do our podcast, both audio and video, everywhere we can possibly put it. So here we are.
You went from we saw you nowhere to we can't stop hearing and seeing you. Please go away.
That's what we want.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And so we are here to bring you the Neighborhood Podcast.
Yes. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome back.
It is. We are here in our podcast studio, and we're utilizing it in a way that really was not intended, because we have a studio back here.
This is
where we should be
sitting, but
we like the headphones.
And they don't reach,
which means we just like to hear ourselves talk.
Yeah.
But we also have a video studio setting behind us that's all white and gold and flowery, and
we've got brick, we've got wood.
So we have different settings, and we decided, you know what?
Let's use none of them.
Let's use none of them.
Let's use none.
Let's sit right where we always sit. And you made a comment earlier. We were literally 5 minutes before trying to figure out, okay, wait a minute. If we're going live, we have to use StreamYard, which means we have to plug in our soundboard to this computer, the lights, the camera, all different. And Taylor's just like, you know what? The only way to get better
is to
just get started.
A wise woman once told me that you can't get great until you get started.
And so you just have to start.
Have to hit go live, even if there's no countdown.
And that is what we're doing today, without much warning, with no, really no promotion.
Yeah.
Because we were afraid. I'll just say it.
Oh, we were.
Well,
she lumped me in.
I lumped you in there.
I was so blissfully unaware. I know. And that's my reason.
I just said, you know what? Let's just do the first week. Next week, we'll start having guests every week. But every week, here's what you can expect. You can expect some fun business news.
Yes.
News you can use.
News you can use.
And then
ASMR segments.
A few
I hate
ASMR.
ASMR.
She hates that with a
I
passion, so I
whatever
love to
the
incorporate it every week.
Condition syndrome
Is there?
Yeah, it's called something. Guy Raz talked about it on his Kids Science podcast. Yeah. Like Grant swallows really loud.
Dad chews
Yeah.
yogurt.
He chews, so you hear like teeth
Yogurt,
biting.
yeah.
I try not to be
Like that.
rude about it because it's nothing they're doing wrong, but I just plug my ear because it is something where it actually like neurologically like makes you like squirm inside your skin. So I just kind of am like, oh, you're swallowing a lot.
If you could just stop that swallowing
if you
thing.
could just breathe less.
Like, don't do the out part. Just breathe in.
Yeah, breathe in.
Just don't do
I
the
don't
out.
hear it when you breathe in.
Yeah.
Can you walk outside when you breathe out? So we do ASMR. There's news you can use. We're gonna meet awesome people in our neighborhood.
And we're gonna have a main topic, and today's main topic is lessons from hard times, because the last year has been a lot of hard times. So we'll have that, and then we're gonna always end with our favorite things.
Yeah.
Without singing it. I don't think we should sing it anymore.
No, yeah, because now they can see us.
But we may have a trolley ride here and there to pick up, the next segment. So let's get started with our first trolley stop with, I hear the trolley coming.
Oh, I do. We got to get on.
We're going to get
Where
to the
going?
news. We're going to get to the news station. Quick, jump on. It's harder to do with video because they can see.
Because we just say, oh,
not
jump
really
on,
on.
we're on. Oh,
We didn't fool you. Okay, so the first segment is news you can use.
News you can use. And this is her favorite. She
It
gets
is my
riled.
favorite.
Oh,
I do.
it.
I could, because there's just so much good stuff. I mean, first I thought it was tragic to hear that Tupperware filed for Chapter 11.
Oh.
Tragic.
So it's just because there's been so many other brands of Tupperware.
Well, I mean, you think about
you still call it. It's like Kleenex.
Well, and they sell Tupperware at stores.
Yeah.
I think they sell the brand Tupperware at stores.
I have it.
But they used to have Tupperware parties, and that's the whole backbone of Tupperware brand.
Like Napoleon Dynamite.
What?
Uncle Rico, when
Did
he does
he?
the Tupperware parties, and then he goes and
wow.
runs it over with his truck or with his
I
van.
don't remember that.
And he goes, he's like, it can withstand this pressure. And then it busts. It like
that's
breaks
funny.
under his van pressure, and he just takes off.
Okay, well, there's a Napoleon Dynamite one I missed. I remember the first time you
hated
watched that.
movie.
I hated it. It was disturbing to me because it was just so random. And then I watched it again,
Okay.
and I thought, okay, Uncle Rico was who was the Taekwondo guy, or
That's
the
Rex Kwando.
Rex Kwando. I did find that humorous.
Break the wrist,
and
walk away.
And so we did find in our family that we just quoted the stupid movie so often that, and we always say, make your own dang quesadilla whenever we're making quesadillas. So Napoleon Dynamite has been ingrained. I did start out hating it. All that to say, Tupperware, RIP.
RIP.
And we're moving on to Rubbermaid.
Yeah. And she even said before, I'm not going to talk about Tupperware.
I know, but I couldn't help it.
She couldn't help it. She's like, it's too boring. But
it was kind of boring.
It's really weighing on you.
It is. I'm like, wow. You know how many Tupperware, how many hours of my life I spent at Tupperware parties?
Actually,
being forced? Yes.
Oh,
See,
what year?
Our generation.
What decade?
This is why Tupperware is filing Chapter 11, is our young people. And here's what I really think. The internet.
It's all about us.
It's
all our fault.
About these millennials.
We're smoking
these
too much of the marijuana, and we care too much about
Margie Joanna.
Margie.
The dang millennials just ruining all the businesses. Well, here's what I think. I think the internet and millennials not going to home parties have killed most MLMs.
Oh yeah, which I think is good. That's good. It's like no one needs
another party to buy big giant stone pans from Pampered Chef.
You could call it millennials, or you could call it Amazon.
You know what? Maybe that's what did it.
Like
Amazon killed Tupperware. Okay, well, no more home parties.
Yeah.
If you're still going to home parties, I want to know
who
is still doing home parties, because
and what's the average age?
What is the average?
I have to know.
All right, it's probably my group. It's my age group going to home parties.
I have to know.
And yeah, we want to know, is anybody out there going to home parties still? And what are they? Because the jewelry, there's a jewelry company, Paparazzi, I think.
Yes.
Jewelry that does home parties.
But they do paparazzi jewelry, glasses, and something else. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tupperware filed Chapter 11. So they
home
are
party thing that someone invited me to last year, and I was like, that's a thing still?
I know. Sad.
Is there Pampered Chef still?
I don't know.
Because those were the coolest tools. It was like sharper image in your kitchen.
Yeah, it's like your kitchen is filled with, you had 3 items and all of a sudden your drawer won't open, it's stuck. So it's like, yeah, I have the apple peeler.
Yes, I loved
Pampered
that.
Chef.
Salad chopper.
Pampered
Washer.
Chef. Pampered Chef. I don't think that was Pampered Chef.
Oh,
I think it's something else. Anyway, so that one, RIP. The interesting one was Squishmallow.
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 Is it
See,
mellow? Or is it
you
mallow?
would know because
Well, Ophelia,
who
my
buys
6-year-old,
these?
calls it squishmallows.
I don't even think they're cute.
They're just, I don't understand the hype. How is it different than a stuffed animal?
So Squishmallows
I mean, they're
are
really soft.
they're pillow. They're like little mini
And
pillows.
they have different sizes, and now they have them on keychains, and everyone's
Okay.
losing
They're
their
mines.
mind.
So if you have not gone out to get them, I mean, I think for the last few holiday seasons, they've been the hot
I
thing.
just saw one on someone's porch last night. Like, it's decor now.
What?
It's a little witch, a little like
On their
candy
porch?
corn squishmallow, like on their little bench on the porch.
Oh,
they have like
interesting.
pumpkins and then like a little witch squishmallow.
Well, it's going to get stolen. But
By my
Warren
daughter.
Buffett just bought the whole brand, whatever the brand behind Squishmallow, and they're trying to sue Build-A-Bear because Build-A-Bear, which has been around for much longer than Squishmallow.
Then I thought they would.
Yeah.
Longer than I thought Build-A-Bear would survive.
Yeah, Build-A-Bear is still, and they're kind of having a comeback. I don't know why.
I know.
But they are. But Squishmallow is suing Build-A-Bear because Build-A-Bear came out with a Scooshers. Similar little plushy thing. And so they are trying to sue. Well, what they're having a hard time with when you go to sue based on trademarks and everything else is the plush toy.
You can't copyright.
How do you copyright or trademark
plush.
Squishy? Yeah.
It's like if you squish it and you really like
that
it,
no one else can do that.
I copyright that.
Yeah.
But if you squish it and you go, this could be softer.
I could probably, trademark that. So they're trying to. So then now Squishmallow is now putting on their labels. You'll see it. It now will say the original Squishmallow, which is interesting because if something says the original, people tend to have a higher level of trust.
Things.
Yeah. Also, you usually can charge more.
Yeah.
So because you're the original thing. And so you'll start seeing that. And it got me thinking of how many brands out there have so many copycats, things that you would have to do the original around
like
it.
What?
I'm just trying to think, like even co-working space. Could you say we're the original? You can't say that.
Could you think could be like we're the original
because
co-working?
they weren't the original co-working.
Was.
It was one, I used to know this. It was one that was in San Francisco, I believe. And it was in like this garage area, kind of warehousey space that they used to gather together a bunch of coders and programmers. And it was the first kind of co-working. But I don't know how you would do that in this industry. But I mean, we always say we're like the original work and wellness and event space.
That's true.
So
because no one else is psychotic enough
to do what we've done. Yeah. But look at your business and say, is there a way? I always call it the only I. What is your only I statement? Whether you are a service-based business, whether you are a product business, only I bring a certain expertise and original view on this product or service that others cannot. Therefore, that differentiates you. When you're doing, anything, whether you're blogging, whether you're podcasting, whether you're creating a brand new business, whether you're writing a book, what is your unique perspective? And those are your only I statements. You need to write down, only I do this from this experience that's very different than another person doing the same thing, but coming from a different background.
Yeah.
And the more you can come from an only I statement, the more original and you'll attract a different crowd.
Yeah, because we see we see a lot of people here doing similar businesses,
right,
or the same, multiple people doing digital marketing, multiple people even doing like nutrition, multiple people doing massage,
lots of realtors,
people doing real estate, lots of people, all the things. And so when we start to see them struggle with like getting new clients or keeping business or things like that, it's kind of like, well, you can't just say like, I do digital marketing. You have to say
everybody does.
I do digital marketing, but only I
focus on, only I spent 25 years in real estate and bring a very unique perspective to other realtors.
And I think an important part of that is, like, interrupt myself, because one of the realtors in here, her like not shtick, because I don't know if that's, but like her
Her lane.
lane is green. And so she is like, I'm a realtor, but I'm focused on green spaces. So I find you more like in the hills, like foothills. I also plant like however many trees for every
Oh,
like
interesting.
how many houses I sell or something like that. So her thing is very green focused. And so it differentiates her. She's
Yeah.
still just selling houses like other realtors, but she's different. Only I have this focus on green spaces.
Remember, we did marketing for a woman who was she was focused on, and I'm sure again, are there others out there doing it? Yes, but her only I
Say it with
statement was,
confidence.
yeah, with confidence. Another wise statement that somebody told her. Say anything with confidence,
and people will believe you.
people believe you. Don't do it in a
Don't
manipulative way.
lie. We're both like,
yeah, going, well, is that really? But she was a divorce. She worked with divorced women.
yeah.
So she partnered a lot with divorce attorneys. She partnered, but she did real estate.
But
She
when you
helped
niche,
it.
it seems like you're
She got
excluding a
known.
whole slew of clientele, but actually you are so specific that
Yeah.
people are like, oh, if I'm going through divorce and buying a house, there's really only one person I can work with.
Right.
Even though that's not true.
Right.
But that's what they start
That's what
to
they
think.
start to believe. So it's
Yeah.
good to really focus on those only I statements. So
Yeah.
all that from
Is
Squishmallow.
it only I and I only? Like you can say only I do this, but I only work with people going through divorce.
Sure.
So only I provide attention to detail for every step of your real estate process by coming to your house and moving in while we pack up together.
There you go. I mean, I love the fact that we have a company here, A Move Handled with Care, and they focus on helping seniors move, whether it's downsizing, whether it's moving into assisted living.
Yeah.
Now, do they do other moves? Yeah, they do. But they can actually say, only we come from this perspective of knowing exactly how to handle that type of move with more care than a traditional mover. So if you have an elderly person moving, you're going to think of them before you think of a regular moving company.
Yeah.
So I like that. Okay, I only have one more news, but this one really got me thinking of creative ways to get into new businesses. This one was about Pizza Hut helping the unemployed.
This is good.
This is good. So in, right now we have a lot of people looking for work again. Here we go with the waves. First, everybody was like, I'm quietly quitting and I'm sitting at home just watching TV all day. Now they're quietly looking for work and they can't find jobs. And New York City has one of the highest unemployment rates. So it's toughest job market. So Pizza Hut said in New York, they were going to start this thing that you had to go online and you had to put your resume in and they would print your resume on a pizza box and you tell them the company you're trying to get into and they would send it.
You thought what I thought, where I was like, why? I thought they were going to give you a temporary job while you were looking or something.
No.
Like send your resume.
You know what? See, that would be good is we'll let you deliver the pizza and get you paid.
To your employer.
Wow, that would be good. Except you're showing up in a pizza uniform delivering pizza and they're like, yeah, this is for an executive position.
But I was like, oh, we're giving out jobs to people. And then they're printing your resume. So they cannot ignore it.
They cannot ignore it. It's not just glued on the box. It's printed on the box. And then you say, I want this pizza. Now here's where you have to do a little sleuthing because you have to first find out who's the person I'm trying to get in with. This is where you go to LinkedIn and you find out who the person is. Then you have to go to their Facebook profile to see, can you see some personal info to see like
what kind of pizza do they eat?
What kind of pizza do they eat? And then you have
find a picture of them at their sister-in-law's birthday party at a park last Memorial Day. And they're eating cheese pizza.
And that's how you do it, people. If you really want the job, and I'm telling you, these are the people that are going to get hired. And these are the businesses that do well when you go above and beyond and you do the work. I'm tired of people looking for the easy button.
I know.
Gosh, we see it every single day. Oh, I thought you were going to do this for me. No. Do the work. So they will print your resume on the pizza box and deliver it to the person that you're trying to interview with. And I think, talk about attention getting. It's brilliant.
But
it's also brilliant for Pizza
I've been
Hut.
now thinking of ways to do that.
Because for a business, could you do that? Could you print? I mean, you could get crumble cookies. You could get Pizza Hut. You could get anything that somebody loves.
For like differentiating yourself in that way.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a different business card approach.
I know we all hate business cards. We're like, what? Now everybody does the electric business cards, which I like.
Yeah, but like we go to an event and I'm like, what could I be giving out or what
swag are people not going to toss?
They are going to remember.
Here's my thought.
Where to come work.
Funny magnets.
Funny magnets.
Because nobody will throw away a funny magnet. If you just have your logo on something, trash.
Why would I put your logo on my fridge?
What? And coasters that have your logo on it. Why?
I'm not doing that.
Unless I'm desperate for a coaster. But
and that she does get desperate for coasters constantly.
constantly.
I find her
Where
just
are-
no.
I need a coaster
No.
right now. Yeah, it was like, what are you putting in swag bags? What are you giving out at conferences or meetings? And we see so many networking groups here, and they're just business card dealers. And my thought is, what do you have that nobody's going to throw away? And so people always steal our magnets
Yeah.
from our bathrooms. We have funny magnets in all our bathrooms, and sadly,
We glue them on the stalls,
I've glued them on.
and they rip them off.
Ripped.
That's how
You still see the little glue
that's
spot.
how much they want them.
They want to rank. So I thought, you know what I'll do? Let's make magnets with those same sayings, but with our business on the bottom of it. Tiny, but it's on there. They're not going to throw them away.
Nice.
So talking about clever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the trolley's coming. So we better wrap up. That is the business news. Hopefully
It's the
you
news you
can use. Yeah. So
All right. Oh,
next-
whoa. It
wow.
really stopped abruptly. That's
whiplash. Okay. So this next segment is our main topic. We need to come up with a good segment for that. This is our main topic, energy. But we're going to talk about lessons from hard times. And we literally were like, okay, we got to just pick 2 each. And because we
that
have
don't
about 20.
make us cry on camera.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. There were so many. So yeah, do you have one that you want to
Yeah,
recount?
I do have one I want to recount. Okay, one of them was not expending future. Well, how did you phrase it? Like,
Don't
not
spend energy
don't
today.
spend energy today worrying about something that may never happen.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of worry is just wasted energy.
Yeah, like
because-
we're building out this space, and it's kind of like we're walking through initially like, wow, this is a lot bigger. And then it's like, what if we don't fill it up? What if it never works out? What if we have to shut down? What if no one comes?
What if the plumber
this?
never closes up the floor that has piles of dirt right now
And
exposed?
That did happen for 6 weeks.
6
So
weeks.
yeah, it was one of those things where there was so much to worry about, like of just constant worry about. We like usually there's kind of one avenue in my life that I'm like, well, what if this doesn't work out? But it was just swirling around me constantly. And so I think that for me was a big lesson in realizing, almost like immersion therapy, of like, oh yeah, I didn't worry about anything today because I had no energy to, and I survived.
You survived.
And that thing never happened. And so yeah, I think that was a big one for me. And I feel like on the other side, a year later, I do feel like a more relaxed person, where I used to be a little more anxious about things all the time.
You are more relaxed? I'm just asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. Coworker. Asking for a coworker. You are more relaxed.
Yes, I do. I feel mentally a little more relaxed, a little more clear of like, I'll see it come up, and I'm better at saying, nope, we're gonna.
Well, we
table
kept
that.
saying time is our friend.
Yes, and that never has not been true.
We say that all the time here.
All the time.
Something you're worried about, you're just going, just let it sit for a minute, because
Yeah.
time is our friend.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it would fix itself before we even had to do anything.
Yeah, and that mantra rang true, because you say time is your friend. What that means is there's nothing you can do right now.
Just let
So
it
you just
sit.
have to let and see what time. And things would happen, like people all of a sudden, like a mass exodus of offices, and we're like,
this big group moved
And-
out, and the next day,
And you
somebody
always
calls.
said time is our friend, and I always said, if we can name a time where this actually didn't work out, then we can panic.
Right.
If there wasn't a time where we could pay the bills, then we're allowed to panic.
Right.
Oh, whoops, in 5 years that's never happened, so we're not allowed to panic yet. And so then it would just like, time would go on, and then a group would come in and be like, well, we want 5 offices. And I'm like, oh, well, if you had been here 2 days ago,
We didn't
we
have
didn't
any.
have them.
Yeah.
But because these 3 people, something happened that we were freaking out, now we have. So it's just like, time is our friend. Don't expend energy, because there's all the studies that are like 90% of the things you worry about never happen.
Yeah.
So I was
That
like,
is a good
"Oh,
one."
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
And one of the things I learned was, and it really, I remember when it really hit me, the epiphany of, as a small business, when you have big expenses hit you, even little expenses, you would always think, oh, I have to pay this. I have to pay, whether it's taxes or, oh, it's going to cost $9,000 to replace this ballroom door. I have to pay this $9,000 for the stupid door that we shouldn't even have to replace. I have to pay.
Amen.
All of a sudden, you're so bothered by the fact that you personally have to pay for that item. But if you can remove the emotion and you look at your business differently, and you say, my business put in a new door,
Yeah.
and it's costing $9,000.
Yeah.
The business paid for the door. You're in business making revenue. It's not that you're getting all the revenue unless you're a solopreneur and you get all the revenue. But when you have a business, you are an employee of that business. So the business is making money. And the faster you can look at your business bigger and really see your business as a tool to make revenue, it pays you a salary. And if you're not taking a salary as a solopreneur, let's chat, because you should put yourself on salary, because you're going to start resenting your business if you don't. But once you take a salary, then you're saying my business pays for this. Oh, all of a sudden property taxes were $20,000 more than we thought last year. So we had to pay another $20,000. But as soon as it came, I was like, well, the business is making money to pay taxes. So good thing we're making revenue.
And be proud of the fact that you've built a business that can afford to pay for those things.
And even if you're like, I can't pay $20,000 right now, you look at it and go, what would a big business do? A big business would go, well, I'm going to have to pay this next month, or I'm going to have to pay half of it right now, half of it next month. You're going to have to find a solution, which is the second thing that I learned was big businesses do this all the time. When there were days where I was thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how are we going to pay for all this and then pay this or do this. And there were so many things. And I just kept thinking, big businesses do this all the time. Big businesses borrow money, repay money, shuffle money, move it to this account, probably move it offshore. They liquidate things.
Solidify them, then put them in a gaseous state.
And they do it all the time,
Yeah.
every day. And the faster that sunk in this year, because when it first hit me, I was like, you know what, big businesses, they make these kind of decisions every day. I'm wanting to curl up in a corner and cry because they're just so huge that I was just going, I don't know how we're going to do this.
You think you're the only one going through it. And that's like with anything personal, but business wise, we were like, other businesses seem to be doing so well.
Yeah. And then I would say, but they have investment money and we don't.
And
but we've learned a lot of those
investors
companies
are pulling the strings,
and the investors are putting the pressure, saying, why are you not making money?
So it's a pick your poison thing, but also they're all, even the big business who has beautiful facilities and seems to be doing real, they're also swimming in debt and have loans. And that's just pressure. Like, they know that it takes time and they know that certain things like just go that way. So
so that was my second learning.
My second was asking questions and how important that is. Because I ended up having to get my general contractor's license this past year.
That was a major story throughout the year.
Because our general contractor went south. We learned some things and we said, you know what? I don't know if that's who we want to be working with. So we let them go. And then we were like, oh,
we have to have a general contractor.
We have to have the permit to keep this project open and therefore our business. And so we looked and looked and looked. No one could do commercial versus residential, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I was like, I'll do it. I can do it. Then
I remember thinking, I don't want to discourage you, but I think you have to have a construction experience.
But
turns out it's Centennial.
Yeah. So, but I asked questions when this building, chief building officer. That sounds like a
building
CEO.
Inspector. He was a chief building inspector. Yeah.
Came in from our city.
Joseph, we love him.
I know. And he was like, so you need a licensed contractor and your permit, and we're learning everything because we took the project on ourselves. And instead of
most people would say there's no way to do this.
And instead of being scared that we're going to get shut down or afraid of breaking rules or just like panicking and like all the other directions people normally go, we were kind of like, what if we're really vulnerable? And ask them questions like, okay, you're right.
What
we're
do
in
I
a
have
spot
to do?
where we're maybe going to get shut down, but what can we do to stay open? Like, what can we do? And instead, he was so helpful. And he was like, well, in the city of Centennial, you don't need years of experience to be a general contractor. You just have to pass the test.
Because you're a project manager.
You're essentially,
you can be. Yeah.
You get your license and then you're just like, I hold the license number and then I'm project managing everyone else. I'm hiring subs. So I ended up taking the test 4 times, but I failed.
Which is another lesson. When if at first you don't pass the test, study again.
And if at second you don't pass the test,
study
and if
again.
At third you don't pass the test,
study again.
And then you pass.
And then you pass.
And then I passed.
Yeah.
So I got my commercial class A general contractor's license so I could build you a skyscraper. I would hire people to do so.
Yeah.
And so that was a whole lesson in itself, is like we really can do harder things than we think we can.
But you were always calling and asking
Yeah, I would, but
Can you
asking
tell me
questions.
this?
So
Can
then
you
I start getting insight, and people are like, "Oh, inspectors are so difficult," and people are this, and I'm like, "Well, my experience is, it's an ego thing or a fear thing of not being wrong or something." But every time they came and they wanted to fail us, I was like, "Can you tell me why
this
this is
this
about to
section?
fail?"
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Well, this exit sign just needs to turn," and I'm like, "Can I
Oh, we
just
can
do
do
that
that.
right now?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Great." And then we passed. So it was just things where it's like being willing to step into a vulnerable, potentially looking stupid area, which I think is just not common in the
Construction
industry.
industry, I think there's
It's
more
it's a
ego.
male driven ego experience where typically, not putting all of you in a box, but typically it's like, "Oh, you think I'm wrong? Well, I'm not, and it's your fault somehow, and it's on you. And I'm now embarrassed, and it's an ego thing." But I was like, "Okay, we failed. Tell me what I
Tell
can
me what I
do.
can do. Yeah.
I'm curious. I want to be vulnerable. I don't care if I look stupid. Help me figure
I mean,
this
it was
out."
great because they would come, like the fire department came and told us, like, oh, here's what you need. Fire extinguishers, 1 per 75 feet,
But
which
they
turns
would
out we had
come
a
in
lot
and just
more.
say,
But
"No, you failed," and they would want to leave, and I'd be like, "Wait."
yeah,
And then by
tell
the
us
end,
why.
they were like, "Well, here's what else you can do, and here's how else
Mhm.
I can help, and here's this, and we won't charge you for a reinspection." Because they were like, "Oh, you're willing to work with us.
And
I'm willing to work with you."
they said, we're here to help you succeed.
Mhm.
So our goal isn't to fail you. Our goal is to make sure everything's done right. So it was interesting you asking you would call, who was it that you would call all the time?
I
The
called Dan Russell every single day from South Metro Fire,
fire
like 3
department.
times a week
Hey,
at
Dan,
least,
it's
and he
Taylor
would be
again.
like, "Oh my gosh." But
He's
and
like, somebody passed them so
yeah,
we could get her off my
please.
case.
But to
It's a
me,
good
it
lesson.
related to life in general, because when you ask questions and you're curious, it de-escalates the situation
True.
immediately. So it's like if someone's having an issue with you professionally, instead of just assuming and coming at them with your defense, whether it's legal, whether it's just like a nasty email, instead being like, "Hey, what's going on? Is there anything I can do to change your mind?" Or
To fix
people
this. And
de-escalate. They're
yeah,
like, "Oh, you actually want to know," versus, so
it was good.
it's been a cool year of being curious.
It really has been. I mean, I'm sure we've put back on our rose colored glasses because
No, mine are cracked. I think I stepped on them, shattered, bulldozers
because
ran over them.
I mean, 2 months ago I had PTSD when somebody even said, "Are you guys thinking of opening another one?" I was like, "Oh my gosh,
And then
never."
she's like, "Yeah, I think
And I was like, "Well, there is a space up north." So, you get past it fast when you get through the hard times and you pause and look at the lessons learned, because every time you go through a failure, hardship, hopefully you pause enough to say, what did I learn that will help me next time? What will I take with me from this experience? Because the next time, and there will be a next time that you're going to face something hard. It may be in your, your personal life. It may be in your business, but you're going to have hard times, which is another thing we see here all the time. You have hard times, and then the next week you have great times. The next time you have hard times. So they're coming. How can you be more prepared so that when the hard times come, you recognize the lessons and say, oh, yeah, well, last time I learned that time is our friend. I'm just going to pause right now and see how things work out. So
watch
it was
out with the
good.
time as our friend. It blows my mind over and over
Every
again.
time. Every time.
I
I have to say, Carrie, she said she has not been to a party.
Oh, Tupperware.
The online parties, the online parties are annoying as well. So if you're doing these to people, just know they're purchasing out of guilt and obligation.
There's
And
better ways to do it.
I don't know how, but yeah, just don't annoy your family and friends all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Just
that's
don't do it in like I think I would buy stuff if my friend was like, one time, and then you get the friends and family pool and then you move on. But it's like, if it wasn't like this, I have to be there live or virtually even. It's like, hey, I have this discount that if you buy with this week, I get a little kickback and you get a discount. Go crazy.
And it goes
Let
back to
them
the
live.
very original thing of be so different and so good that the product or the service sells itself. People want it because it's so good. Be out there talking about how great this is. And I do see people do that. But they do it in a way like, oh, look at this before and after picture of how, I'm not going to go there.
Don't go there.
All of a sudden, everyone's dropping off.
Like
Okay,
flies.
but let's wrap it up with our favorite things, because this has
Yeah.
been a fun episode to get back kick-started back in there.
Oh. Okay, grab on.
Whoa. Okay.
A little smoother. A little smoother.
Okay, so we always end with what are some of our favorite things. And I have a favorite. You know me. I always
She's
share.
a learner. She's
I'm
a
a
learner.
learner. Quit watching TV.
And I'm always the one who's going to bring in the one that has nothing to do with improving your business. It's
Yeah.
improving your life.
Well, you know what? I actually thought of you because I thought I have two things.
Okay.
No, I'm going to.
What are you doing? Oh, she's doing it.
I'm going to do it.
Oh,
I had a backup. That was
okay.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Look at you. It's like Kathy saying Carmex. We had someone on. Love you, Kathy.
Love you, Kathy.
And she said her favorite thing was Carmex. First,
We
we thought she
thought
said
CarMax,
CarMax, like the car seller.
Yeah,
I'm
where
like,
you go buy a car.
Yeah,
Like,
they're,
good.
they're very fair.
She must have just got a car.
And then she's like, no, my CarMex. And I was like, okay, your chapstick that's been around for like 100 years.
That was her favorite thing.
Good for you.
She loved it.
We love that.
My favorite podcast right now, and shout out to Ann Long, who's in my co-working mastermind group. She told me about a podcast called The Daily Creative.
Okay.
And it's The Daily Creative. Oh, I don't have my glasses on. I wrote his name down so I could read it. Oh, by Todd Henley. Todd Henley is the host.
It says Henry, I believe.
Oh, Todd Henry.
Right here.
What did I just now say?
Henley.
Oh, well, it's one of those things.
Todd Henry was a mighty man.
No, that's
John Henry.
John Henry. Okay, so it's I was going to see if I could expand it, but anyway, it's a podcast called The Daily Creative. Todd Henry. I love it because it's very well produced. Very similar to this.
Malcolm Gladwell's level?
Yeah. I mean, it is. It has great background music. It has interjects
does
with
it for
different
me.
guests. I know. Yeah, that is a
like
standard.
Radio Lab and Malcolm Gladwell, anything Pushkin. I'm like, yes.
So that's a great one. And the topics are leadership, but they're also life, about being more creative. And he wrote a book called Brave, and I listened to it and it was very good. And my other thing is very deep and intellectual as well.
Very deep and intellectual.
It is. Press on nails, ladies. I'm telling you, press on nails. So the brand makes a difference because people give me a hard time going press on nails. Right now, I just peeled mine off after 4 weeks.
She couldn't do it anymore.
And they're not glued on. They're little stickers and they stick on. They stay for so long.
I'll say a few things. Caveats.
It
does depend on the brand.
Yes.
And it depends on your nail shape.
IMPRESS. Well, they come with like a variety of sizes.
So don't put that. So
I'm
it could be
just
user
telling you.
error. It could also be.
Let me know if you've used them. Let me know if you love them or hate them. But if you hate them, it's probably because you've done them wrong.
If you hate them, it's on you.
Your nails are weird.
Yeah.
Now you do have to dry your nails really good so there's no oils on them. But that's
and you can find out at our next party we're having in person. It's our Impress party.
We're having a party.
We're having a whole things.
We're having an Impress party where I'm starting to sell these. Oh, I love when we crack ourselves up.
I know.
But yeah, I got these at Ulta, and you could get them usually at like King Supers, Walmart.
Have you checked Target?
I'm sure they have them at Target.
But what's the? Because Impress,
So
but it's Color FX.
Yeah. So the Color FX is the cat eye. I don't know.
Okay, because here's the thing.
I feel like one of those
influencers.
I use this.
Bobbi Brown.
Yeah. Impress nails.
If you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Then you're not on Instagram.
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Good
You're not
you.
scrolling on Instagram long enough. So what's your favorite thing?
I have two as well. Okay. One is except here's the thing. Oh no, I was like one of them just slipped my brain. No, one is for work and one is for play. Okay. My favorite work thing is Scribe.
Oh,
if no one's used Scribe,
it's called Scribe How.
Scribe How.
You have to go to scribehow.com.
It's a pink logo with like a white zigzag.
Yeah.
But it is, I use it almost daily.
Yeah.
And it's essentially a tool. It's like project management, but it's a procedure writing tool. So like every time, so we have a lot of people who always have questions on how to pay their invoice. I don't see.
And that is an important question to answer.
Because I like, you need to know how to pay me. And so they are like, well, I don't know how to add it to the company profile. I don't know how to add ACH, or I don't know how to do all these things. So I one time went through and hit Scribe, and it doesn't record your screen. What was the one that recorded your screen?
Are you talking about just our regular
Loom?
Yeah.
Loom. So like Loom records your screen and you can talk and do a video. But this one is like it's on the tab, and then when you click billing, it'll write a procedure, take a screenshot and say click.
It's creating a PDF.
Creating a PDF that then you can share.
Yeah.
So now every time I just go in and I have them all saved and I'm just like, here's how you pay it. It has saved me so much time.
If you are building your business to eventually sell or building a business, processes are important. And if you're going to be writing processes as you're doing them, as you're
doing.
them,
So she's not writing them. We also have Grammarly for her.
we do. I do use Grammarly. Thank goodness for Grammarly. Yeah, as you do something, it's creating PDF documents for you,
Yeah.
so it's perfect for
And
that.
my
That's a great one.
personal thing, thank you, is the Marco Polo app.
This one, kids for kids.
No, because you know who introduced it to me?
Who?
Introduced it to me. We love Grammarly.
Who did introduce it?
Is okay. Someone introduced it to me who is
Older?
your age,
Oh wow, old.
and they have siblings over across the U.S.
Okay.
Like 4 sisters that they like talk to all the time, but we're finding it harder to because when you call or FaceTime someone, you each have to catch each other at the exact right moment for you.
So that you can,
because if
for,
like Bailey FaceTimes me and I'm like, well, I'm doing bedtime, so we can talk for like 2 minutes, and then I gotta go, and then I call her back and she's well, now John's home. So it's like you just never got to talk, and then trying to see each other in person and with kids and work, you're like, it's never happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening. And my friends moved out of state, they moved to different cities, and I never got to see them. And then you catch up and you feel like you have 6 months of catching up to do in 4 hours. So Marco Polo, for any of you who like want to talk to their friends all the time.
But yeah, show us like Vanna. So it's an app,
it's
but
a little app. It's a little beach ball.
But here's my
helpful.
question. Why is it different than just using your messaging app where you do a video?
Because it doesn't store it.
Okay.
So it
disappears.
Bailey and I would send each other like 12-minute videos.
So once again, the skeptical mother in me is saying, so if you're doing drug deals, if your kids are using Marco Polo, it's probably for no good.
What?
I don't know. That's just how
they're all on there. You can still see them. Like this is your daughter. So
which PS, in case people are wondering, where is the Shreklet?
Yeah.
She is going to be giving birth any day.
4 days.
She's doing 4 days.
With her second
baby.
The last time we recorded the
she
podcast,
probably was pregnant.
She was about to give birth to Piper.
Wow.
Her now one
and a half year old. So Bailey now has a 1.5-year-old little girl named Piper, and she is ready to give birth within the next 5 days,
any minute,
with a little boy named Milo.
Wow, that's funny. The last time we recorded this podcast,
she
in May last year,
just had a baby.
We were like, any day now, she'll have a baby, and now we're doing it again.
I was trying to convince her to come in today to do this podcast with us, but with she's at the stage of going
the doors, and so.
And she's tired of people. She's like, I can't be around people. Shout out to David Scott. David,
you're everywhere, David. You're always here for us. Thank you.
You know what? We love you, David.
We do.
And David said he loves the favorite things. I think David loves these.
You said most. Ladies, and I was like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Also gentlemen.
Yes. And so we love seeing your comments on here. So, this is a fun reboot.
Yeah.
I think we can do it every week.
Say it with
Tuesdays,
confidence.
we are going to be recording, coming to you live
Tuesdays at 1.
And it will also be available for replays, obviously, on all the channels. Next week, we will also have it on YouTube. What I did not know, since I've been out of the social media loop for so long, if you want to stream live on YouTube, be sure you don't sign up the day before you want to stream, because they require 24 hours to be approved before they'll allow you to go live.
You can't do like a hate message when you're mad at someone.
I guess that must be the reason.
They're like
why
sleep on it.
Sleep on it for 24 hours. And literally, when I went to our YouTube channel, it said 3 hours and 8 minutes before you can go live.
Wow.
So we still couldn't stream. So next week it'll be on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, on LinkedIn.
So for those of you sitting on YouTube, like, where are you at? Where are you at? Just blank.
We didn't advertise it, so nobody knew to even look for us.
One of them.
So next week we'll be there, and then it'll still be on Spotify and all those audio channels that the old people use.
Yeah,
still.
If anyone's not using Spotify,
because I was like, I never watch a video.
Talk to me. I'm having a party next week. I can't stop.
See, now that would be a good one. How to use YouTube?
Yeah,
a home party, at home party.
At home parties. Yeah. Wait, did you say? Do I use what?
Do you watch podcasts on video?
No.
Like the podcast you ever on any of them that you watch? Do you ever watch? I never do either. I just listen.
Never.
So
I'm an audio gal because I also don't have time to just sit and like watch something.
Well, no diss to the people sitting and watching us right now.
I'm saying I don't, because we're doing this.
Because we're creating the content for you.
Yeah. But like, I know people who work at home and have it like up on playing.
Yeah. Which now here's the downside. Luxury. I listen to audio podcasts, and it kind of gets me when they go, so those of you watching video, you can see right now what we're showing you. And I'm like, dang it, I need to go log in and watch it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
then I
See,
do
I
go
don't
and
listen to
switch
enough
over.
podcasts who are saying that
Yeah,
or doing that.
She listens to baby podcasts.
A baby podcast?
I don't know.
What's a baby podcast? I listen to audiobooks, okay, except to check out after my day.
She's one of these millennials with life
Boundaries. Work-life balance. I'm like, oh, I just worked all day. I should listen to a fiction book so that I can be creative and de-stress. And she's like, constant business learning or death. That's where we're
I
at.
go, you know what? When I hire people, I'm looking for someone with no life.
She's like, oh, okay, so you plan on having a life with friends.
No
Okay.
dogs.
Actually,
no
you're fired.
kids. Okay.
You're fired.
So this was fun. And we will be back next Tuesday, 1:00, back on the trolley through the neighborhood with one of our neighbors.
Woo woo.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
We're going to practice our trolley driving so that we don't give them whiplash.
Bye, everyone. Ooh, some bumpy road.
Oh, we're so going. Bye.